Hello, ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between. I am Michelle Stone.
I'm Jenna Rose.
And we're with the Underground Music Collective. We are back for another session of Fun and Games. We are doing our Wine and Whine segment, which you guys know is sponsored by our friends at City Winery. They are a venue here located in Nashville. They have food, they have space for concerts. Super good, very supportive of the music community. We're joined by Arts Fishing Club today. Yeah, so you guys want to say hi, introduce yourselves individually. We can start here and go down.
Sure. Hello. Thanks for having us.
Hi.
Yeah, it's good to see y'all again.
Yes.
My name is Christopher Kesnick.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, my turn.
He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, my name is Brian Kempson.
I'm Reese Williams.
And I am Peter Edens.
Ooh, yeah. So they came on my radar when I actually went to Daddy's Dogs. That's what it was. They played a show, like first drive-in show I've ever been at that Jenna invited me to. Immediately, I was like, okay, this band's great. I want to talk to them. So we're drinking on the rosé today. The rosé is very good at City Winery. It's actually, I think I would say my favorite because it's like a fine line between mix. So we've got our boys here drinking, and let's get cozy and let's start talking. So, yeah.
Should we start with a
let's start with a cheers.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. The hosts are trying to stay sober during this.
Yes,
so.
reviews are appreciated.
So we are live right now. If you guys are in the comments and you want to ask some questions or say hi, feel free. Our producer Gerard is in the back doing the work, so he'll let us know if you have any specific questions you want to ask the guys. But let's just dive in. So tell us about Arts Fishing Club, how you guys all came together, and just give us like a backstory of the band.
Yeah, I feel like we've come together in a very Motley Crue sort of way, just like piece by piece. Just the Nashville. We all moved here independently to pursue our music dreams.
The old classic, moved to Nashville to pursue your music career.
Yeah, none of us are from here, so it's Chris has been here for like a decade. Mm-hmm. I've been here almost 5 years now. My anniversary's coming up.
Congrats. Cheers to that.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers.
Nothing better than
So you guys all came here separately, and did you meet each other here, or did you know each other prior, like online? Like, how'd that?
Yeah, no, just slowly but surely. I was, at the time, I had kind of just recorded an EP under the name Arts Fishing Club, and was looking for people to create the band with. I'd always
make an actual club.
Right.
So you had the initial vision.
Just didn't sound
Kinda,
good.
yes,
Not
yeah.
a good selling point.
And slowly but surely, I was just trying to swindle people into being my friend.
Make it sound like you're on the corner, like I got some jewels in my pocket,
That's pretty
guys.
much how it
But instead of jewels, it's like I got some drums and a guitar. You guys want to go hang out?
Exactly.
Well, that's I met him on the corner of Gallatin and Old Hickory up in Madison.
Yeah.
See, you used to be able to pick up other things on that corner.
Yeah, hey, that's right.
Oh, good old
And
Nashville.
I met
Good
him
old
on the deck of Mercy Lounge and was introduced to him as a keyboard player, and he goes, "Oh, are you free August 20th?" And literally, that was the first thing he said to me before his name.
Nice.
And and so I was free August 20th, 2016, and now here we are.
So
Right.
since 2016, so it's been 4 years. So I guess would you say August 20th is kind of like the band's anniversary?
Kind of, and
Maybe,
that's
actually,
Pete and I's.
yeah, at least that,
exactly.
you know.
And then slowly but surely, I saw BK playing. I was just at this, old roommates. He was playing a gig with him, and I think there was nobody at this show.
Yeah,
it was
at
an empty
Alley
room
Town. Who was it?
except for me.
Yeah,
Who you playing
so
with?
Jimmy.
So Jimmy,
Green,
Jimmy,
a guy
who
who used to play, good friend of mine, used to play guitar for us.
Right.
Me and him
Still-
used to be in
still
a band.
plays with
Still
us,
plays with us.
but,
Yeah. Me and him were in an old band, instrumental band called Space Camp, and we were playing a 10 to 2 set, on a Thursday night
At Alley
At
Taps.
Alley Taps.
Oh, Alley Taps is that spot. My buddy
Yeah,
Aaron
you
runs
see
Nashville
that
Tour
spot.
Stop, and
Oh,
he
nice.
he goes. I go there almost every Thursday, to support him. That's such a good venue.
Right.
Yeah.
Except that Thursday.
So you're playing to a quiet room. That's the classic though. The greatest bands that I feel ever existed. That was where they were at. So I feel it's important for people to realize sometimes you're gonna have to play empty rooms. That's being a musician and that's putting in work. And so then next thing you know you're playing drive-in shows, and you got like a fan base, and you get a following. So, so that's cool. So you guys kind of just went with the Arts Fishing Club had already been like named, and you guys were cool with it. You were just like,
Speaking of the name, I know that there's a good story behind the name. Of the
let's hear that.
So the name, it goes back to both my grandfathers. They're named Arthur.
That's a little fun Jeopardy fact about Arts Fishing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and so when I was first playing music with my cousin Keenan, he kind of jokingly was like, or not jokingly, he seriously was like, we needed a name for an open mic, and he said, let's name it Arts Fishing Club, after our grandfathers, and I like hated it, because I was like, bullshit, like no one's ever gonna take this seriously, like I had serious ambitions.
Sounds like the Babysitters Club thing. You're like, oh my god, we're gonna be shoved in the back of a shelf.
Exactly. But then the more I thought about it, the more I just kind of loved it, and it kind of serves as a metaphor and almost like a hallmarky mission statement of just like approaching music the way that my grandfathers taught me to go fishing, which is just like,
way.
yeah, you just keep going out, keep casting, and it's like, it's about just doing it and being out there.
It's a good philosophy to live by. I didn't think of actual fishing for art when I thought of your name. Like, I thought of like a fishing pole and like you pull out some art.
Right.
And you're like fishing for
I
actual
like
art.
that.
Yeah,
visual.
that's
Yeah,
what I
we might
thought
have to
about.
steal
That's
that
kind of the
little
metaphor.
idea.
Make that the cover of your CD
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
Just a picture of somebody throwing fishing for art. So that's super cool. So something that I love on Fun and Games that I'm really big about, and we talked when we started this, is musicians and creators in general are constantly talking about their music, right? You get into an interview and it's like, well, I guess we're going to talk about the music. And I believe that people who make music creators, we're so much more than that. We're like, we have so much layers to our skin, and it gets boring almost. It takes away the glory because you're just like, man, I've been talking about my music all day. This is all I talk about. So, like, let's talk about something else. What is something that you guys really enjoy aside from your musical life? Like, what's in your personal life that you're really fond of doing that doesn't involve music?
Interesting.
Go for it, Reese.
Yeah.
Oh, you asked
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Specific.
With or spoon?
Let's
I don't know.
let's dive into your personal life, Reese. Let's go.
Wow.
He's like, take a sip of the wine. This is a lot to
Yeah,
unpack
like,
here.
Hold on. Should I get my notes from my therapist?
Buzzer in. Doris?
Doris, is that you? Yeah, she's live.
It is funny. So the pandemic, I'm like starting to actually get in touch with that because I feel like I was going so consistently with Chris, with Arts Fishing Club, and with whoever else I could play with.
Yeah, you probably toured harder than any other musician I know. Like
2019 and 2018, both years, I think I was like 250 days on the road.
Wow, so the pandemic kind of slapped you right in the face, didn't it?
It did, and honestly, it was a much needed break. And so, like, I mean, I know that sounds horrible, but it's like I needed some time for myself emotionally,
Oh, that
mentally,
doesn't sound horrible at all.
as we all kind of do. But I got into poetry recently. I don't write it, but I've been like reading it, which is not something I thought I would do. So that's been nice. Reading has actually been a big thing for me because I feel like I actually have the space to sit down and like. I know it's kind of boring. It's not like I'm like, man, I've been going rock climbing and I.
You're talking to a screenwriter here, okay? Don't tell me reading's boring.
I know.
There goes my
reading
whole
rocks.
career.
But that's been like, yeah, me and LeVar Burton, teamed up on this plug for Reading Rainbow.
there we go.
Anyways, but yeah, no, that's like actually taking time for myself has been kind of like the new hobby.
What kind of books do you read? Are you like an nonfiction, fiction, or like
I love autobiographies.
autobiographies?
And like memoirs and that kind of stuff is really
Oh my
interesting
God.
to me.
One you would really like, I know it's super random, but Gucci Mane.
Is it good?
That's the best
yeah.
autobiography. That man has been through some things. Like,
yeah.
I was over at a
Yes,
friend's house, actually the artists that are coming later for our segments, and he was just laying on his table, and I was like, do you have Gucci Mane's autobiography? He was like, dude, that thing's like my Bible. And I read it, and it really, like,
It's pretty amazing.
he has some great, like, life advice. Like, he's been through it, and he hashes it out in a way that kind of helps people get, like, and he's such a smart man. Like, I feel like people don't know he's that smart. Anyways, I'm endorsing Gucci Mane on a Arts Fishing Club interview.
So
Me also
going
endorse.
off of some of what you just said, what is for everyone here? What are some of the things? I know that there's plenty of hardships that have come from the last year with everyone, but what are some unexpected like blessings that have come out of this last year for you guys?
Man, kind of echoing what he said, like just being able to get off the road a bit and just have to be forced to focus on some other things, especially within music. And I moved here specifically to produce music, so going on tour wasn't what I was intending to do. And then all of a sudden, like 4 years had gone by, and I wasn't doing 250 days out, but I think 2019 I did like 225. Something like that. And
anything over 150 is kind of like, okay, this is too
wild.
much.
And so like my back was hurting, my body was just so fatigued, and then all of a sudden COVID hit, and it was just this like strange blessing to have time to focus on like what I intended to come down here for. And I've been able to make a living off doing that too. So it's been like a very eye-opening kind of experience, because I thought that touring was like the way to pay the bills and whatnot. And then I realized that I can do it through other avenues within music.
Isn't it so fulfilling when like you finally like, and I've recently come, I know me and Jenna are both, because we just started a company together, Music City Movement. Endorsed them a little bit there. We're throwing shows every month. Okay. But like being able to see, like, because I'm a screenwriter, you know, you guys don't know much about me. He knows a little bit because I kind of been talking to him. I write scripts, and I just submitted my script to Netflix and Hulu. Please choose me. But like I've been doing like side writing jobs, and I'm starting to see things where I'm like, I actually can be a full-time writer and like do all this stuff now. And it's so fulfilling, isn't it? When you're just like, dude, I'm doing what I love, and I'm like making money off of it.
Totally.
And like, this is incredible.
You know, it was always like in my head like that. No, like that's not a viable option. You need to like supplement like your life with.
Well, because society tells you. Remember, like when you were a kid, I don't know if you guys. Well, for me, I was that kid who was like, I want to be a dictator and be ruler of the whole world. That was just my personality. But for some people, like I want to be a rock star. I want to be this, and you always get told as a kid, they're like, come on, honey, choose a real career. And you're just like, why can't that be my real career, Mom? Like, why can't I be a freaking rock star? And I feel like we're slowly getting away from that idea that, like, you can't make what you're, like, you can love what you're doing. Yeah. You don't have to work in the 9 to 5 and then be like, okay, after this, then I'm going to go play music and stuff. No. You can do that full time.
I think it's
and you guys are proof of that. You're freaking killing it.
It's worth mentioning, too, though, that to be able to fulfill your like dreams and follow art, there is like an immense privilege for that. And I know I was just like kind of complaining about being on the road a lot, but I have to also like recognize that I get to do the thing that I love, and I should not take that for granted. But having healthy boundaries with the things that you love,
exactly, because I feel like artists get trapped in that too, because you feel an obligation to be on tour and you're making music, and you're like, well, I should be really grateful for what I have, but it's like it's okay to be grateful and also be like, but I'm kind of tired of this shit.
Well, you also get stuck chasing the paycheck too,
right?
Because it's music, so I should be grateful for it. But you know, sometimes it goes away from what your actual passion is within that industry. Yeah. So it can be a tough thing to balance.
It's important to balance that self. Do you guys? I kind of get the vibe. Do you meditate or do any like spiritual stuff? Are you guys big on that? Yeah. When I really just he's like, I go ahead and take off. I thought you were gonna be like
he's feeling the wave.
That really helps a lot too, like stillness and silence and so speaking of music though, what are you guys' like biggest musical like influences? Like me, I have 3 top favorite bands. Incubus is my #1 favorite band of all time. I love you, Brandon Boyd.
Make Yourself was my first parental advisory
CD. Oh my God.
Nice.
Really?
The
Pardon
first
me?
one my parents were like, oh, okay, you can listen to this one.
Oh my God. And then, of course, Queen. I have their Dynamite the Lesbian tattooed on. And then AC/DC. I clarify my favorite bands by the ones that I know the most music. Like, I can recite almost every single Incubus song, almost every single Queen song, and almost every single AC/DC song. Right. So I'm like, that obviously is my favorite band. I mean, it's like, I know them. So what about you guys? What's like...
I'm trying to think
most of their songs.
Now, like, who do I know all the lyrics?
I'm religiously into Incubus. I'm like, Incubus.
Nice.
No one else.
Well, I feel like we're all over the place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What about you, Christopher? What's like?
So my family grew up like in Wisconsin's like big Dave Matthews Band fans. So that was like one of my first bands that I was ever into was them, and just like the whole jam and like live show aspect I really loved from them. But I would say like Paul Simon is one of like my all-time favorites.
That explains your vibe.
And I guess so. And then just like Bob Dylan, that's kind of like the older, younger years. I don't know. Then I moved into kind of a lot of pop punk and then into a lot of like the folk revival that
that's
started to
good.
happen.
You said Wisconsin, right? Don't they have like stellar cheese?
Oh,
Or am I
yeah.
thinking
Speaking
of
of
They
cheese.
do cheese. Ooh.
Tons of cheese.
Go on.
I'm curious as to what you're gonna
Yeah.
say now. I'm like,
So-
speaking of cheese.
Yeah.
When do we get to start back up on the Cheese Castle campaign?
Oh.
Oh, we're all over.
I think it's happening.
There's like some heavy flirting with the Mars Cheese
Okay,
Castle.
explain what that is to people that are watching.
Okay, so the Mars Cheese Castle is like basically this.
Exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a castle dedicated to cheese, and it's right
Yeah, not
on.
made of.
It's right off the highway, in between Milwaukee, like right basically as you're leaving Wisconsin, going to Chicago.
Wait, so they're serious about this.
Oh yeah, no, so it's like a real.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a real castle.
We are
And-
here for cheese.
Yes.
and it's kind of like this tourist trap a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
That like not a little bit, basically just only that I think everyone in Wisconsin, like your entire life, anytime you're driving, going on a road trip, you pass this thing, and like as a kid, you're always like, "Mom and Dad, can we stop at the Cheese Castle?" And they're like, "No, yeah, shut up." Right?
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. My parents do that.
Yeah.
His
Oh,
mom's
wow.
watching like, I cannot believe him. I am
Yeah.
calling him later. How dare you depict me like
Yeah,
that?
Mary Kay does not like that.
He called her by name.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Hello, Bill,
Hello, Mother.
Mary Kay.
Mary Kay.
Look, Ma, no hands.
Mary Kay and Iron Will, they're very sweet people. They wouldn't do that.
Oh.
But
Oh, they always stop at the Cheese Castle,
right.
right?
Yeah, they would if
And
we
just
asked.
pass
But
it.
but anyway, it's basically just this big. It's this cheese castle, and I don't know. We just
Yeah.
on tour, we were always passing it
Always.
because we were playing a lot of shows up in Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, it's exit 378 off the highway. You just know it.
Yeah, you don't know where it is?
No, I've never been there.
I
I've
don't
never
know
been
if
up
it's
to that area.
378, but it's close.
It's,
like
I bet you get
minus
tired of it though,
10
because people are like,
of
"Oh my
that.
god, isn't that where the giant cheese stack?" Yes.
Yes.
I bet you getting annoyed.
Basically, then we just started like tagging them in posts and like flirting via
Social media.
via
with them, yeah.
Instagram, like just like jokingly, because
Concert at the
Slid- you
castle,
slid into
the-
those
and
Cheese
then-
Castle
and then
DMs.
eventually they started responding, and
Slid
now
into the
we're, like,
DMs.
really trying to push for a concert at the castle. We had a meeting.
It's gonna happen.
And-
Oh my god,
Yeah,
that
a
is
bunch of
it's gonna happen
Wisconsin
because we're
artists.
saying it's gonna
Justin
happen right
Burnham's
now.
gonna
They
play.
turned
nice.
Weezer down. So Weezer tried to have a concert at the castle.
They turned
What?
Weezer down.
Yeah, Weezer tried to have a concert at
When?
the castle
When?
in the
Weezer down.
90s.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Wow, that's actually surprising.
And the owner, so it's like it's this family business, and they're an Italian family.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like this old
warms my
Italian
Italian
man.
heart.
Yeah, like he was like, "No, I'm not letting any of these punk musicians come in here."
I mean,
like,
valid
blah, blah,
though, valid.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, bro.
He's like, you ain't messing up my damn cheese castle.
But like folk music is more like old people friendly.
I don't know. I
More
think
Old
cheese
people
friendly.
friendly.
it's either
She
that
said
or it's
old
just
people
that we're like wearing them down emotionally.
Yeah, it's like
Just
Chinese
like-
strip
yeah.
torch.
Oh my
It's
God,
been, like,
okay.
years of buttering them up at this point, so like
So
it could happen.
it could. It's gonna. We're gonna
Yeah,
say it,
it's
but if they
gonna
turn
be
Weezer
nacho
down, I
cheese
don't
and
know
milk.
about our.
No, it's
Anyways.
gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
happen.
So let's go back. So what's one of your favorite musical influences and bands that you kind of listen to, or artists that you're
Oh wow. Yeah.
maybe right now? You don't even have to. It's someone your favorite or.
Yeah. So I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh,
and
shout
I
out
pretty
Atlanta!
much, yeah, ATL. So I pretty much grew up in church playing gospel music and
Nice.
had a lot of influences in that realm, like John P. Key, Kirk Franklin.
Mm.
He's a fan favorite. Who else? I don't know, like CC Winans, the Clark sisters. You know, a lot of old school gospel cats I grew up playing on, and then I got more into like hip hop in my teenage
Yeah.
years, like T.I., Ludacris.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, Atlanta's.
I love
Oh my God,
Ludacris.
Gucci Man.
Yeah, it was
Like you said, Young Jeezy. You know, I had to sneak and have a
Do you like
radio.
Hobson? Have you heard of Hobson?
Hobson? Oh yeah.
Hobson's like one of my
Yeah, I
favorite
love Hobson.
rappers. Oh my gosh, he just like he's not mainstream because he spits the hardest truth you've ever heard.
Oh yeah.
Like he
The-
spits stuff and you're
the
like,
crazy
dude,
stuff.
you won't put this on the radio because this is truth and this isn't about like
Hobson's
money and
crazy.
sex and like he just
Yeah.
the realest stuff, you know. What about you, Reese?
Um,
He's holding his wine glass.
Yeah.
Act like a normal human. Act like a
See me
person.
behind
I'm
this.
thinking,
Is Reese a lizard?
yo,
I saw Mark Zuckerberg today, and he was like, I want to address some rumors. I am not a lizard. It's like, Mark, that's exactly what a lizard person
Yeah,
would say,
that
Mark.
is
exactly.
true.
They would deny their lizardness.
True.
That being said, I'm not a lizard.
Starts licking.
No. Anyways, my all-time like lifelong favorite band is Ben Folds 5.
Actually?
Yeah.
nice.
Dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
love
Oh,
They
you
were my
guys are
friend.
learning about each other.
I know, isn't it cute?
I've been on a crying kick
My
lately.
first, crying is great. Can I just say?
I was in
That's
Walmart and I
Lizards
saw a
don't
onesie and I
cry,
was like,
yeah, that's
oh
like-
my god, that's the cutest dang onesie. And I'm just like crying. My friend's like, yo, Michelle, are you okay? And I was like, I'm sorry, man. It's so cute.
Sometimes you're pushed to tears. Sometimes
That's
you
right.
eat something so
Especially
amazing.
in
it
Walmart.
Oh my
makes you cry.
gosh. Ugh. Like,
can
by
identify
the way,
with that.
which, speaking of
Emotional
eating,
place. Have you been to the one on the west side? Oh my god.
which one? What on the west side?
The Walmart on the
Oh
west side.
no,
it's
I haven't.
emotional.
Is it? Is it really? I
Yeah.
love
You'll
people
have to
watching
try
at
that.
Walmart. It's so interesting to see what
Oh,
humans
yeah.
do and like
Go on
they don't.
out.
Oh,
think
it's
they're
not
being
about people
watched.
watching. It's just about the vibe.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard that there is a Walmart, like somewhere, like maybe it's Brentwood or something, that has valet.
what?
Brentwood
That's so
has a
stupid.
Walmart.
I mean that makes sense though, but that's like putting
I
like
haven't
ran
been
from an
there.
ugly
This is
car.
rumor, but that's what I've been told.
Sounds.
It's small
Okay,
as a
if
house.
someone's in the comments, verify that for us if you don't
Yes,
know. I'm
please.
going to figure that
Gerard,
out.
can you search?
Can you imagine? Like, I would feel so bougie going to Walmart, just like valet.
Right? Yeah. That seems...
Speaking of eating, though, you guys need to definitely try our food that we got for you. We did get food
Oh,
for the
yeah.
artist.
Yeah.
We got jalapeno chips,
Super
avocado
shoot.
dip,
Oh my
some
gosh.
meat
Right
wrap cheese
Yeah,
thing.
don't
I'm
mind
just kidding. I know the name of it.
Meat wrap cheese thing.
But yeah, and give them a little ASMR. Speak into the mic, like
Oh, yeah.
slowly.
No one
Oh
wants
my
that.
god.
Yeah.
We had two of our artists come in, and I was like, okay, do ASMR. And I was like, but look each other in the eyes. And they surely did. Remember? They were like,
Oh yeah, it's hot.
slowly. It was, yeah, it was,
All right.
we were just like, all right.
How long were they a band together?
Right.
Okay, so what about you? What is like some of your musical influences or your favorite musician, band, artist?
So I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, which they like really hold on to the jazz culture like super strong.
really?
And so like yeah, when I was in like middle school band and whatnot, it was kind of like, do you want to play classical music or do you want to play jazz? So it's like jazz for sure over classical, and so that like was
But
a
Mozart,
big
though.
influence, but it like wasn't necessarily like sought out. So I was like listening to a lot of like Motown, old school soul, and hip hop and R&B. And that's like been pretty constant throughout my life. I definitely love a lot of jazz, but now that I'm not like in school learning it in the, you know, educational kind of setting, I have, you know, kind of strayed away from it.
Oh, it definitely changes your perspective in schooling. Like for me with screenwriting, when I learned a lot about scripts, I look at movies different now. Like I
Yeah,
can't watch a
right.
movie the same way because I'm like breaking down all the scenes and I'm like, all of this is a part of something. It really changes your perspective when you
Yeah.
learn the workings of a clock. You tell time different. That's
Exactly.
that's a Michelle quote
Ooh,
I just made up
ooh.
just now.
Proverbs, actually, not even quote.
Michelle 5214.
So you mentioned poetry. Are you guys into philosophy at all? Do you like philosophy? Yeah. Do you have like a favorite philosopher? I know mine is Alan Watts. He's like my top. What about you, Jenna? And you like?
I mean, I would say Alan Watts.
You would
Wait,
say
who are
Alan
your
Watts too,
favorite
yeah.
bands?
Well,
The shirt she's
I
wearing.
mean, we
Yeah.
can
I was gonna say she's wearing a shirt.
get into my.
Great killer shirt.
My favorite bands would be definitely Hanson, number one. They're the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
reason that I am involved in music at all.
Hanson's
Like they
same.
have,
Not coughing at anything, don't worry.
I love it.
yeah, they've guided my whole life.
Yes.
What's the
into,
record
like-
I should listen to if I like
Mbop?
other than the Mbop? Is it
Mbop.
Mbop?
No, I would say probably Anthem,
Okay, cool.
which is one of their more recent ones. Yeah.
Sweet.
Are they still
I
together?
saw a performance of
Interesting.
them like fairly recently, maybe 2 years ago or something, as
Where?
like adults, or I wasn't there in person,
Okay,
you know.
well, this story
But
sucks.
I was definitely blown away.
Yeah.
You can tell they're in a band
Because-
together because they're like dicks to each other.
Yeah, because
right, well, I'm not
historically all I'd
listening.
ever known was Mbop,
Yeah.
right? Like, and I was like, damn, Hanson's legit.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah. Well, their band just celebrated, I think, like the 25th anniversary. So
Wow.
they're, I mean,
Damn.
you know, they're in their 30s, but like, you know, they've been doing this shit for a
Right.
long time.
Yeah.
So they put on a great show.
I'm gonna have to dig into some Hanson deep cuts.
Yeah,
know.
you'll be
Excited to
surprised.
grab.
Anthem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Anthem.
Where they-
That's what I would say.
She
Yeah.
named 3, so I want
Yeah,
2 more.
you gotta do
Okay,
two
so
more.
Butch
He's interviewing
Walker.
us now.
Nashville local.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And I would say the Struts are a new favorite, but I'm like
Nice.
totally obsessed with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then Matt Nathanson as well. And then Austin, the Slow Drag / everybody else, his old band.
Nice.
Oh,
So
Austin.
that's-
Yeah, I
that's-
know Austin.
Yeah, me and Jenna are
I've
actually
recorded on one of his
fans
songs.
of the bands that we're friends with. Like, we
Nice.
legit, we're not just like, oh, you know, our friends are in a band, we support. Like, we're genuinely, we listen to their music. Like, you see us at shows, and we know, like, we're singing every single word to the song because, like, we actually truly enjoy our friends' music.
That's
Because
that's
it's
part of
That's
how
cool.
I
That's
got
super cool.
into like more working really professionally in the music industry was through, I mean, loving everybody else, Austin's old band, and following them, and then eventually when they kind of parted ways, and then Austin went on to be solo, I just continued to follow, and so that I just like built a relationship with him and got into music that way. So
awesome.
That's cool.
So you guys, so back to the philosopher question. What do you guys? What's your favorite philosopher? Do you have one, or because I feel like that's a lot of influence. Philosophy influences everything. I feel like.
Right.
So-
I don't know that I have like a favorite philosopher, like specific person.
Fun fact: Charlie Chaplin was a philosopher, even though he barely spoke.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
it's
was, yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was a philosopher.
He's got some great-
I don't
He
know
does
that I have
some good stuff.
a favorite person. I don't know. Do y'all, any of y'all?
That's something I don't
Yeah,
know
that's-
anything about.
You guys, so since that's a good opportunity, then so go on YouTube when you get home or when you get chilling and look up the Philosopher's Mixtape. This thing changed my life, and it's just a bunch of different philosophers with like a beat in the background.
Nice.
You can work to it, chill to it, do yoga. Like it's such a good.
It's a good alternative
It's
to
a-
lo-fi beats and chill.
Yeah, and it also it gives you a bunch of different philosophers to choose from. Charlie Chaplin's in there, and he says he has a very like historic one where he talks about bringing. It's so moving and powerful. But yeah, so anyway, so we got about 5 or 4 minutes left. So you guys are going to do a performance for us, a strip performance. Do you guys want to tell everybody kind of what you're working on in the like what we have to expect from Arts Fishing
Got
Club
some
as a
new
band
music
and
out,
like
right?
Sure.
yeah, let everybody know kind of what you're working
Chris,
on.
you wanna
And-
let 'em know?
Yeah, we just released a song about a month ago called Horizon Eyes.
Oh, I love that one. I
nice.
love it. It's so good.
Cool.
We're
Heck
gonna
yeah.
play that one.
Yeah, and that one's just kind of about
His face just lit up. I love it.
Yeah,
It's like,
nice.
thank you.
nice. That one's just kind of about like what we were talking about before. Lots of people kind of having their own idea for who you should be or what you can and cannot do, and it's kind of just like a, some middle fingers to that idea, that concept. So that's that one. Tomorrow, actually, a song is coming out, With Us All.
Tomorrow?
Well, so the
Tomorrow,
video is
11.
debuting
Okay,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Okay, so we
Video.
can expect a music video. So that's
Yeah.
coming. Oh my gosh, I'm
Yeah,
so
there's a-
excited.
there's another little music video with that. That was actually just Pete and I because the rest of the guys were out of town, and we just like came up with the idea and had
And
to
it
do
was easier with COVID too.
Right.
It's just like us and the videographer and our buddy Derek just like
Right.
helping out.
And the song
we
is
just
kind
did
of
this
stripped
one.
anyway.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more like a lyric, like almost like a Bob Dylan. It nods to Bob Dylan in it. So it felt it felt okay doing it that way. And then so that comes out Friday. It's called With Us All, and then the rest of the EP comes out in a month.
Do you guys have any shows lined up that you're going to be playing? I know the mayor said things are supposed to start opening back in May or June.
We're in talks with Third and Lindsley and the Basement right now. Probably gonna get one in April.
Well, we happen to know a movement that has started
We do happen to know
that we can talk about opportunities later with that. But yeah, we're wanting to do a lot of different venues and stuff around town. So, but that's cool. So that's awesome that we can expect that from you guys. I'm going to be looking out for it.
Heck yeah.
So anyway, so you drum for another band, don't you? Are you just specifically Arts Fishing Club? Because I know I saw
drum-
you doing a bunch of musical stuff too. You were working with another a female,
Yeah, I play for this artist called Raquel Lilly.
Raquel Lilly.
and
Yeah.
She stays back home in Atlanta. Shout out Raquel. if you
Shout
guys
out
know
Raquel.
about
I believe I had you on at one point.
Yeah, so she does a lot of like R&B, indie soul type stuff, and it's just been really fun to like grow with her. I met her through a guitarist that I went to Belmont with.
Oh
That's
wow,
kind of
you
the
went to
story of-
Belmont.
yeah,
Oh, that's a
so-
good school. There's a lot of good people that come out of that.
For sure.
Yeah. So do any of you do solo work though, or is it just all of you are mainly just Arts Fishing Club?
Everyone does a bunch of stuff.
A different
yeah,
kind of work
not
with different
necessarily
people.
like solo work, like as our own artist, but we back up a bunch of different artists,
Yeah.
and I do production, and yeah.
So everybody can follow you guys too. Do you have individual Instagrams? People want to check out your individual work.
yeah,
yeah.
For
And we'll
sure.
link all that stuff below, of course, so you guys can check them out. But yeah, so me and Jenna are gonna get up and let you guys do what you love to do and what we want to see you do, which is do a strip performance of your
That's
songs.
nice.
Are you
Cool.
playing one or two?
We can play too. We can play the.
We would love to.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, guys. Well, without further ado, we give you Arts Fishing Club.
All right. There's gonna be a little bit of ado because we have to grab our instruments.
And I had to eat a few chips.
Yeah. This is Pete, I love your cute little. All right, hello. We are Arts Fishing Club, and this is a stripped version of Horizon Eyes that just came out. We've been driving through the night. These highway signs and caffeine headlights. The ghosts are calling, they're saying to slow down. They don't know us at all. It's paranoia and fear rolling off their tongues, 'cause they're afraid of what they've never done. But we don't hear them, not a word. We lift our heads and smile. We say, hey, now monsters, get the hell out of here. You don't belong and we don't want you. We got our heart beating in our chest, horizon eyes, no, we'll never, never rest. Now all these suits with all their gold advice, these lawyers, teachers, parents trying to get a slice. They think they know just who we should be, but they know nothing at all. So we say, hey, now monsters, get the hell out of here. You don't belong and we don't want you. We got our heart beating in our chest, horizon eyes, though we'll never, never. Oh, oh, baby, we know who we are. We know it's crazy, but we will never stop. We got our heart
Hey, now monsters, get the hell out of here. You don't belong and we don't want you. We got a heartbeat beating in our chest to rise and rise. No, we'll never, never. Oh, oh, baby, we know who we are. We know it's crazy, but we will never stop. We got a heartbeat beating in our chest to rise and rise. No, we'll never, never rest.
All right.
Beautiful.
That one's a little Horizon Eyes for you. And we're going to do one more called With Us All. And this song comes out to tomorrow. It will be, the video comes out, and then Friday it's officially released.
Come on, you parents, open your heads. It's time you heard your children. 'Cause the times they are changing and they always will. So forget what you know and listen. Come on, you fathers, soften your hearts. It's not your fault your fathers never opened up. But you don't have to live like them. Look your boy in the eye and say you love him. Oh, I'm in love. Oh, I'm in love. Oh, I'm in love with a soul. With a soul. All us religions, it's okay, we can settle down. 'Cause there's no love in the shame we put out. Heaven ain't about being right or wrong. It's about tearing the pain away from our soul. Everyone afraid to open their eyes, call out the truth in our ancestors' lives. All us racists and sexists and anti-gays, all of us drowning in all of our hate. Oh, I'm in love. Oh, I'm in love. Oh, I'm in love with the soul. The soul. One last message for the darkness I love, God. If a man can't love a man, I don't really care to belong. 'Cause my friends are lovers and I love them. So if you send them to hell, you better burn me well. Oh, I'm in love. Oh,
right. There you have it. Thank y'all so very, very much. Thank you, Underground Music Collective, for having us. And yeah, we're Arts Fishing Club. Much love. Toodaloo.
Much love.